I appreciate the comments of the various council members and from their perspectives. I think as a body, we are here as elected officials to determine what is best for the city tonight with regards to this resolution. One thing that I wanted to make mention of, as has been mentioned, is the reality is this is a post-performance tax increment financing. So the reality is the Woodburys are putting up the money, they're putting up the investment, they are taking the risk, and the city is not taking the risk. They are borrowing the money or using their own money to build this expansion of the mall. And what I love about this is the fact that they're changing it to a mixed-use facility, which I believe for the future will be beneficial and something needed within inside our city. We are not bonding for this as a city. Okay, we are not going into any debt as a city for this. We are not increasing anyone's taxes for this. Okay? In fact, this is going to increase jobs within the city, 2,500 jobs. The gentleman got up and spoke that he wants to have a good life in the city. He bought a new home. He wants to have a good job. This helps to provide those jobs. This provides sales tax. Sales tax helps pay for the government of the city, helps pay for the general fund. This helps to do this. Property taxes will go up as far as revenue for the city. And again, if you take the long-term view instead of the short-term view and look at where we're going to be 20 years from now, I think you'll see huge benefits. As I looked at it, if we were not to do this and stay where we're at versus doing this with the 20-year increment and then look 20 years out beyond that, we would be receiving 3 to 4 times the amount of tax revenue for our city than we would do otherwise. I believe that this is a very important move on the part of our city, and I appreciate very much the Woodburys' interest in our city and their willingness to invest. I wanted to mention something about the state of Utah. The state of Utah has been rated as the #3 best state in the United States for business climate. It's been rated the first in job growth. It's rated by Forbes as the #2 out of the top 10 states that will boom and move forward. We have rankings, if you go to the state of Utah's website, that go on and on and on. But I wanted to mention something about what the state of Utah does. Here in the state of Utah, we have low taxes. We have a set income tax of 5%. We have high job growth, one of the highest in the country. We have one of the lowest unemployment rankings in the country. And as far as growth of new businesses, we're one of the top producers. So you have to ask yourself, how is that our taxes are low, that our unemployment is low, that our jobs are increasing, and that we have one of the best business climates? Well, I believe one of the reasons is what Governor Herbert put into place, and that is business incentives. The state of Utah has business incentives. I don't know whether you realize it, but they have 11 business incentives from the state. They have 2 local incentives that the cities can use, and they have 6 workforce incentives. And I believe through the judicial and wise use of these incentives, our economy has grown. I was with Governor Herbert at the Executive Summit by the Chamber of Commerce last week. He had just come back from Washington, D.C. He was being asked by other governors, how is it that the state of Utah continues to grow jobs, continues to keep their taxes low, and continues to bring new businesses into the state? And one of the reasons, he said, was because of some of the business incentives that they had, that he has put forth. So I would like to just read a couple of things about this. First of all, there are 2 tax increment financing incentives. I don't know whether you realize it or not. There's the one that we're looking at today on the CDA, but there's also the Economic Development Tax Increment Financing. And this is a post-performance refundable tax credit for up to 30% of new state revenues, sales tax, corporate tax, withholding tax, paid to the state over the life of the project, typically 5 to 10 years. It is available to companies seeking relocation and expansion of operations to the state of Utah. So you ask yourself, well, are there companies that use that? Yes, in fact, there are companies even in Orem who use this, that is open actually to all the companies within Orem, all 2,500 if they want to do it. So one particular company is a company by the name of Jive. So Jive Communications has grown by more than 100% annually for the last 3 years. To keep up with its rapid growth, Jive has been boosting its labor force. The company added more than 100 employees just last year. Over the next 5 years, Jive Communications will pay at least $6 million in new state taxes, $130 million in new state wages, and a capital investment for this expansion of approximately $6.4 million. As part of the contract between the state of Utah and Jive Communications, Utah has approved a maximum cap tax credit of $938,000 in the form of post-performance economic development increment finance taxes. So other companies have the right to use these tools, and they are available. Now, in Utah, or in the city of Orem, we have two things that are available to us. We have the revolving loan fund, and we have the CDA. So you ask the question, well, the revolving loan fund, has anybody used it? The city of Orem has put out over $10 million in loans to small businesses through the revolving loan fund. These are businesses, I own a small business. These are businesses like mine that need the help of the loan fund, and they in fact are getting that help. If in fact you go to the state of Utah as well, there are industrial assistance fund incentives, there are renewable energy development incentive funds, there are recycling zones, there are research tax credits, there are sales tax exemption for manufacturing equipment. Interestingly enough, I bought a piece of equipment from my own manufacturing company and used the sales tax exemption as a small business. There's industrial revenue bonds. There are enterprise zone credits. There's a motion picture incentive fund that only the motion picture industry uses. It's not available to everybody, but it is a tool that's out there. There is a rural fast track program. So with regards to the CDA, I wanted to mention what the state of Utah has to say. It says cities and counties may award incentives to companies locating in economic development areas. The city or county determines a CDA area on a local level. Incentive dollars are dollars generated through the creation of new property tax increment that a development will generate. When a company constructs a new building, for example, its property tax increment is the result of the assessed value of the building multiplied by the property tax rate. In a CDA, public entities must opt in on a property tax rebate if they see fit. Incentives are awarded as a percentage of the tax increment created by the development and by the developer. CDAs are intended to undertake any economic or community development purpose of the city, including job growth or retail sales. Not only are those things available to us, we also have 6 workforce development initiatives. In my own company, I have hired prisoners, while they're still prisoners on work programs. I have hired prisoners who have come out of prison. In both cases, I have received workforce initiatives to help pay for that. I've also trained Vietnam veterans who have been disabled to work in my company. Again, receiving on-the-job training and work experience and paid internships. There are many of these incentives that are available to companies throughout our community, small and large. If you look at Orem, just in the last 2 weeks, Orem was named by 24/7 Wall Street as one of the best 30 cities to live in. Money Magazine just named us as one of the 25 best cities to live in. Our jobless rate is second to none. We have growth, we have a livable community, we have high growth companies, we have a great place for seniors to live in, and we are rated as the #1 entrepreneurial hotspot in the nation for the next 20 years. So I believe that there are many benefits to us from being wise in the use of incentives that the legislature has put into place, and the reason that our taxes are low, our taxes in the city of Orem, our property taxes, are 22% lower than the average city inside the state of Utah. If our taxes are low, we've got great parks, we've got great job growth. You know, I think there just is tremendous things happening. Our unemployment rate is low. I don't want to keep reiterating all this, But part of the reason for that is because we have a strong retail tax base. And because of that, and because of the job growth that we have, that the mall can help us produce, we are able to enjoy a community as citizens to have parks, to have recreation, to have arts, and the reality is to make it affordable for us. We're one of the most affordable cities in the nation. So I believe that this is important that we support the mall. I believe, again, we are not bonding, we're not going into debt, we're not raising taxes, okay? We are helping to, I believe, look at long-term tax increment financing that will go back to the mall for infrastructure for all the citizens to use. And in fact, this will, I think, be a great help to our community for many years to come. With that said, I would like to make a motion to adopt as an official project area plan for the University Place Community Development Project Area. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Councilmember Sumner.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
The resolution passes.